Welcome to this video. We're going to be talking about all the pros and the cons of living in Bellevue, Washington. Make sure you stay until the end because some of those cons may be exactly what you need to hear before deciding whether you want to move here, or maybe a different Seattle suburb might be a better fit. On our channel, we talk about everything having to do with Seattle, Washington, and our Eastside suburbs, from the what's happening and what are the events to the different neighborhoods and communities surrounding our area to make sure you are completely informed. So if you want to know about everything happening in Seattle, Washington, and our beautiful, beautiful surrounding suburbs, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel so that you can follow along and be the first to know about everything happening in Seattle, Washington. So let's get into it, the pros and the cons of living in Bellevue, Washington. Like any city, there are going to be a ton of things that you love, and then of course there's going to be a couple of those things that you wish that you could just change. So we are going to break down all of that for you today. If we haven't met, my name is Carrie Konecki. I'm a real estate agent here in Seattle, Washington area. I grew up in Winville, which is about 25 minutes northeast of Seattle and roughly 10 to 15 minutes north of Bellevue. I've been here since I was 6, so I do consider myself a Seattleite. I love helping people relocate to Seattle, Washington every single day, and I love sharing what makes each area unique. I get calls, texts, emails, and Zoom invites from people just like you who are looking to move to Seattle, Washington. So if that's you, all of my contact information is in the description. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 from across the country, across the world, across town, I'm here to help make your move exactly what you want it to be. All right, let's get started with the pros of living in Bellevue, Washington. And don't worry, we're gonna get to those cons. I'm gonna help you navigate each of them. So one of the biggest reasons people move to Bellevue, and honestly why so many of them stay, is our job market here. Bellevue used to be considered a suburb of Seattle, but that's not really true anymore. It has become its own major employment hub, especially for biotech, finance, and tech engineering. You've got Microsoft, which is just a few minutes away in Redmond, Amazon, which is expanding into downtown Bellevue, Meta's multi-building campus, Salesforce, Smartsheet, and T-Mobile, which is nearby Factoria, just a short few-minute drive. And then you also have Overlake Medical Center and tons of remote workers earning high salary while living here for the lifestyle. So the earning potential here in Bellevue is huge. The median household income in Bellevue is now around $160,000, which is more than double the US average. But the advantage isn't just high salaries, it's career stability. If someone loses a job in Bellevue, they often have multiple other opportunities within a 10-mile radius. That's not something every city can say. Now, if you're comparing Bellevue to places like Bothell, North Bend, or even Snohomish, yes, those areas are more affordable and you'll get more land, but they don't offer the same job density or the same fast commute options if you want to work in tech or corporate fields. So if career growth, networking, and long-term earning power are high on your priority list, Bellevue is one of the strongest places you can plant roots in the whole Pacific Northwest. Another huge reason people move here is the school system. The Bellevue School District consistently ranks in the top 2 to 3% in the entire country for academics, college readiness, and STEM. We're not just talking good for Washington, we're literally talking nationally competitive. The schools like Newport, Bellevue High, Interlake, and Sammamish regularly show up on US News and niche rankings. There are also advanced programs like International Baccalaureate, AP Capstone, Gifted Testing, and dual language tracks. So if you have kids who are accelerated or you want the option beyond the standard curriculum, Bellevue offers that. But here's something relocation buyers don't always realize. The strong school rankings also protect resale value. Even if you don't have kids, buying inside a top school district means your home will stay in demand longer and hold equity better, so especially in slower markets. If you love the idea of strong schools but want more space or a quieter feel, then Sammamish or parts of Redmond or even Mercer Island might also make sense. But if academics are a top priority, Bellevue is one of the strongest choices in the state. So this is one of those things where people think they're choosing a house, but they're really choosing the ecosystem around the house, the education system, the stress level, the expectations, the long-term value. That's why Bellevue schools are such a huge deciding factor for families who are moving here. One of the things that people love about Bellevue is that it has this really polished high-end lifestyle feel, but it still feels calm and safe. Downtown Bellevue is walkable, clean, modern, and full of shopping, restaurants, parks, and entertainment. It almost feels like a smaller, cleaner version of a big city. You've got the Bellevue Collection, Lincoln Square, the Bravern, rooftop restaurants, luxury brands, Equinox, spas, and wine bars, and then you have a 5-minute walk later, you're on a park right by the water. That's something that's really hard to find in most suburbs. But here's what makes Bellevue different from Seattle. You get the urban convenience without the noise, without the graffiti, the tent encampments, the parking challenges, or the crime. That's a huge draw for people who want a city lifestyle, but also want safety, order, and a slower pace when they go home. Now, if you're looking for more charm vibe and maybe waterfront cafes and small local shops, you might want to lean more towards Kirkland. If you want land and space, that's more going to be Woodinville, Snohomish, and Sammamish. But if you want modern design, new construction, walkability, and a more luxury feel, Bellevue definitely checks off those boxes really well. It's not quirky, it's not historic, it's clean, curated, and intentional. And a lot of people love it for exactly that reason. Bellevue is a really interesting balance because you get this big city convenience, but you're also surrounded by nature. You don't have to drive out to go hiking or paddleboarding. The outdoors is built right into the rhythm of the city. You got Maidenbower Bay Park, Cougar Mountain, Lake Sammamish, the Bellevue Botanical Gardens, Kelsey Creek Farm, and then so many trails and access points to water, all within about 5 to 15 minutes of where people typically live. And then if you do want to go bigger, you have Snoqualmie Pass, which is only a 45-minute drive. And the entire Woodinville Wine District is only 20 minutes north. And we're not even that far from mountain passes or even the national parks. So even though Bellevue looks like high-rise corporate city from the outside, it still completely supports that active, outdoorsy Pacific Northwest lifestyle. You can work in tech during the week and be kayaking after work or hiking on a Saturday morning. And that's a huge quality of life perk that people don't truly understand until they live here. If you want even more nature and space, Sammamish and Issaquah might feel like a better fit. And if you want walkability and waterfront views, Kirkland's great for that. But if you want both city access and outdoor access without feeling isolated, Bellevue hits that sweet spot really well. Something people notice really quickly when they visit Bellevue is how clean and safe it feels. You don't see tents on sidewalks, you don't see boarded up storefronts, you don't see trash blowing around the streets. The city is well funded, well maintained, and really intentional about how it grows. Bellevue consistently ranks as one of the safest cities in Washington, especially for its size. The streets are well lit, the parks are cared for, and there's money invested back into the infrastructure and public services, so you feel it when you walk around. A lot of people who are relocating from San Francisco, Portland, or even LA, they tell me the same thing. Bellevue feels peaceful, it feels controlled, and it feels safe. And that matters especially to families, retirees, or anyone who just doesn't want to deal with that urban unpredictability. Now, safety and cleanliness do come with a higher cost of living, and we'll be talking about that in our cons. But if you want walkable areas, parks, and restaurants where you feel comfortable at night, or if you want to raise kids in a city that feels structured and low stress, Bellevue is one of the best places in the region for that. So let's talk about the cost, because this is the part that surprises people the most when they start actually running numbers. Bellevue is expensive, and not just in a Pacific Northwest pricey kind of way, but in a genuinely high-cost, high-income city kind of way. The median single-family home price in Bellevue is typically somewhere in between $1.5 million and $1.7 million range, depending on the month and the neighborhood. And it's not uncommon to see $2 to $3 million prices in areas like West Bellevue, Medina, and Clyde Hill. And it's not just housing. We're talking groceries, restaurants, childcare, private schools, fitness studios, even basic services like lawn care or dog boarding all cost more here than most surrounding cities. Now, the reason people can afford this is because their earning potential in Bellevue is also very high. We're talking a household median income around $160,000. So yes, it's expensive, but it's also built for high-income households, tech professionals, and dual-earner families. If you want a similar feel with a lower price point, you might look at Bothell, Newcastle, or parts of Redmond. If you want more land and space for that same price, you might go towards Sammamish or Woodinville. But if you want that walkability, convenience to top schools, and corporate job access all in the same place, Bellevue is the trade-off. You're paying a premium for the package. A lot of people look at Bellevue on a map and they think, oh wow, everything's so close, that's so great. And yes, technically that's true, but not during rush hour. It does not feel that way. The biggest choke points are going to be 405 and 520 and even Bellevue Way, which can completely back up during the morning and evening commute times. A drive that should take only 10 minutes can easily take 25 to 30 minutes depending on the time of day. And if you're commuting into Seattle, the 520 bridge or I-90 can often turn into a parking lot. Now, the light rail expansion is supposed to help, but the East Link opening has just been delayed multiple times. So for now, most people are still driving, carpooling, or doing hybrid schedules. Bellevue isn't like a big metro where everyone hops on a subway. It's a car-dependent city with pockets of walkability. So if you're someone who wants to do a true no-car-needed living, you may want to look at downtown Bellevue specifically, or even consider Seattle instead. Now, the flip side is if you live near where you work, like in West Bellevue, and you work in an Amazon or Meta building, your commute could be 5 minutes by bike or even on foot. So it really depends on where you live in Bellevue and where you work. So this one isn't talked about a lot, but it definitely comes up when people move here. Bellevue has a very high-achieving, career-driven culture. A lot of families are dual income, highly educated, working in tech, finance, or medical fields, and the pace of life can feel fast. The schools are excellent, but they're also very competitive. Kids take multiple AP and IB classes, families invest in tutors and extracurriculars, and there's this underlying expectation of success. Not in a negative way, but a very normal way for this area. So if you're coming from a slower, more relaxed or artistic community, Bellevue might feel a little intense or structured at first. It's not loud or flashy, just very driven. People here are used to planning, scheduling, optimizing, and performing. It's just part of the lifestyle. If that feels exciting, you'll love it. If that feels exhausting, you may be happier in a place like Kirkland, Edmond, Snohomish, or even Bainbridge Island, where the culture is more laid back and community oriented. Bellevue is beautiful, modern, and well-designed, but if you're someone who loves historic homes, brick storefronts, quirky cafes, and old main streets, Bellevue might not be your place. This is a city full of newer construction, glass towers, planned neighborhoods, and master-built retail spaces. It's clean and upscale, but it's not charming in that storybook, early 1900s kind of way. There's no old town like Snohomish, there's no waterfront boardwalks like Kirkland, and there's no island feel like Bainbridge. Bellevue is polished, it's corporate, it's intentional, and some people absolutely love that. They want that convenience, a fresh build, a walkable downtown, and clean infrastructure. Others want character and history, and Bellevue just doesn't offer that in most neighborhoods. If charm and personality are high on your list, you might want to look at places like Kirkland, Snohomish, North Bend, or even parts of West Seattle. If you love modern living, newer homes, and clean lines, Bellevue will feel like home. This isn't exclusive to Bellevue, but it's something people relocating from sunnier states really need to know. We get long stretches of gray, rainy weather here. Not storms, not dramatic weather, just months of clouds, drizzle, early sunsets, and 40-degree days. From about November to April, you're going to have more dark days than bright ones. And if you're coming from places like Arizona, Texas, Florida, or even Southern California, this can feel like a major emotional adjustment. People joke about coffee culture here, but it's real. Caffeine and vitamin D are a lifestyle. Now the good news is that summers are absolutely gorgeous. 75 degrees, no humidity, long daylight, and everything is green and blooming. But there's definitely a seasonal shift here that affects your energy, your mood, and even how social people can be. Bellevue does a really good job with parks, trails, indoor gyms, and community spaces so people don't feel so stuck inside. But the weather is the weather. So if you thrive in sunshine, this is something to think about before committing. So that's the real picture of Bellevue, the good, the challenging, and everything in between. It's an incredible place to live for the right person, but like any city, it's not a perfect match for everyone, and that's honestly okay. Your lifestyle, your budget, your priorities, all of that matter way more than a hype video or a headline. If you're thinking about relocating, upsizing, downsizing, or just trying to figure out whether Bellevue is the right fit, that's where I come in. I'm here to help you compare, make sense of the market, and choose a place that actually feels like home. Whether Bellevue ends up being that place you land or just a part of your search process, I'm here when you need me. If you found this video helpful and want to stay in the loop on the Seattle area and our ever-changing real estate market, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow along. That way you'll be the first to know about everything happening here in the Seattle suburbs. I'm Carrie Konecki, your local Seattle real estate expert, and every day I'm getting calls, texts, and emails from people just like you looking to move to Seattle or one of our beautiful Seattle suburbs. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90, from across the world or just across town, I'd love to help make your move exactly what you want it to be. So until next time, I look forward to showing you around town.